Hello,
Good day. Good day.
nice to meet you, and thank you for this opportunity.
It is our passion and our pleasure to do so. What would you like to discuss?
Let me see if I can squeeze all my questions about existence into these few minutes.
You will squeeze what is necessary to squeeze. So just take your time and trust the timing.
Okay, so let's start with an easy one. In science, there is this Planck length. So my
Yes.
question is there really a Planck length, or are you always in the middle?
You're always in the present, but in terms of the construction of physical reality, there is Planck length and Planck time. Planck time is the idea of the tick of the clock of your physical reality. In other words, you are shifting billions of times per second. According to the Planck time, tick of the clock, billions of times a second you are shifting from one parallel reality to another. This is how you create the idea of the side effect you call time and space. This is how you create your experience of a timeline. So your consciousness is shifting billions of times a second, and the Planck time and Planck length are integral to the idea of exactly how quickly you are doing that with regard to the space-time structure.
Okay, but then what happens? Let's see, imagine that you shrink to the Planck length, or it's below physical reality. Like, what happens to experience below the Planck length?
Beyond, below, and above that idea, you simply know what you need to know instantaneously. There is a timeless state in which you simply know exactly what you need to know the moment that you need to know it. And the idea of process is not experienced in the same way at all.
Okay, thank you. Now I have, you had the science of spirit, what is God? You had this in the past transmission,
Yes.
yeah? And
Yes.
I have a few questions related to that topic. And you
Yes.
in that mentioned that there is one, and inside
Yes.
that one, the first reflection, so to speak, is all that is.
Yes.
It is what humans call God. So
Yes.
it's just easier in speaking, so I'm going to refer to this as God.
All
so
right.
The question is it when, so to when it becomes aware, like who I am, who are you? Is it alone, or who I am, who are you all? So the moment it becomes aware of itself, it's already like an infinite number of reflections, or is it alone? Like a solipsistic sense.
It is both. Remember, in the one, there is no experience. Only the idea of all that is or God has experience. Therefore, it is instantaneous that it is infinite in reflection. And it is not about the moment it becomes, it always is. There is no moment it becomes. That's a linear way to talk about it. So
Yeah.
it always is experiencing itself as an infinite reflection. That's its nature.
Yes, but then, humans like call that God is omnipresent, omnipotent, and so on. But is God omnipotent, or the one is omnipotent, and God just thinks that he is the one who is omnipotent, but he is just like humans. We think that we are the one who are doing. And
No, God knows exactly what it is, because again, that's its nature. Its nature is to know itself. And it knows itself as all the reflections, an infinite array of reflections.
And does God experience everyone's perspective simultaneously?
Yes. Yes.
But is it
Yes.
like parallel, distinct experiences, or like a white soup of nothingness?
It is both. It can experience itself in all ways, because nothingness and the experience of every individual are all possibilities within it. And so it experiences both of those simultaneously.
And then what is this concept in the like yogic terms? Like they always focus on like to empty your mind, just be present. So that's
Yes.
the question, like, can you know everything, like conceptually, or like by being, can you know everything? Or is it always, you cannot know it conceptually, you can just be it?
You cannot know everything while you are physical because it doesn't necessarily relate or relevant to the idea of what you need to understand as a physical being. So you will not know anything. You will know everything you need to know that is relevant for you to have this physical experience. But there are things way beyond physical reality that you simply don't need to know as a physical being.
Okay, but let's say from God's perspective, uh, does God know everything, or is it just being without knowing?
It is again both, because the idea is both of those are legitimate experiences and reflections of all that is. And remember, God is everything, and therefore it knows itself, and therefore knows everything, but can also experience itself as the nothingness.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, yeah, I think that's good. Then again, shifting gears, another topic. Uh, I was traveling to the Netherlands by airplane, and a woman with her child sit next to me, and it was like a recognition right away. But we just had some small talk and then parted ways. So my question is, and a few days later, I had some strange vision, as if we were husband and wife in a parallel reality. I don't think this
Yes.
literally, just like as an idea. So like the question is like, who was she, and why I have, it's not just this one instance, but I have a similar pattern in my life that
Yes.
whenever I have a recognition, I cannot act on it. But when it's like, when I can act, then it's not close enough. It's just, it's some kind of paradox.
All right. Well, we're not going to get into a deep detail about the psychology of what's going on there. But the idea in general is that you've set yourself up with agreements with different beings to touch base with you, to trigger within you a recognition of more and more of the connections and agreements that you have with different beings in parallel realities, different energy connections that can help you move forward in your life if you learn to use those connections and those recognitions and agreements in a specific way. So we're not going to go deeply into this because that will require more time than we have here for this transmission.
But like currently in that situation, what should I have to do? I cannot act on that experience.
You don't have to act on that experience. What I'm simply saying is you can understand that you are giving yourself the opportunity to experience agreements and connections you have made. So it's like a synchronistic touching base to let you know that at that moment, you're in the correct vibration to move forward in your life by acting on the formula and acting on your passion.
I see.
So anytime you recall what that connection felt like, then you are back in that feeling, back in that vibration. Whether it feels the same or not is not the point. Anytime you can remember what that felt like, that connection felt like, you are in the correct vibration. So use that to move forward when you take action on your passion in life.
And then one more thing, when I was a child, I don't know, maybe 5, 6 years old, I had like a sleep paralysis, when you wake up and cannot move.
Yes.
And I experienced like in the medieval times, there is this depiction there a demon is sitting on your chest. So I was experiencing someone in a black hood, and I wasn't able to move. And I don't know, after a minute, I was jump up, turn on the lights, it disappeared. And that was my only, paranormal experience. What was that, and what should I?
Well, again, you are shifting to other realities where you are encountering different kinds of beings. To some degree, this is simply your interpretation of a reflection of being shifted to a reality where you were allowed to face your own fears as a child and let them go. So you were given an opportunity to look at the shadow part of yourself that weighs you down and to learn to let it go.
Okay, and then the last thing.
Now, you said last before. Is this truly your last?
It's never ending.
All right. Let it be your last for now.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. And
Thank you.
thanks for the fish.
Aveo.
Goodbye.